haven't done any recording for a little bit. Last time out I managed to blank, and to be honest, I haven't been out since then. But it's been a few weeks. I was hoping to string a few sessions together, but yeah, it's not happened like that. What have I been doing? I've done the Northern Show. That was really good. Had a great time up there. Had a couple of days away in the New Forest, and then came down with flu or whatever. I'm assuming it was flu, but who knows. So I had a couple of days in bed, but I'm all fully recovered now, and I'm off fishing. I'm not sure which lake I'm going to go to. I've got a couple of lakes next door to each other. They're all very close by, so not sure which one I'll end up on. It might be the one that lost a few fish, but there's been a few getting caught on there, or I may go on the other one. I'll see how it looks when I get down there. But the car's loaded up, just got to sort my food and my bait, and then I'll be off. Well, that didn't quite go according to plan. Everything's loaded up, ready to go, as you can see. I've not done it particularly neatly, have I? But there we go. Yeah, just went to get some bait out of the freezer. Won't be using a lot this time of year, but get a couple of bags of boilies out. And yeah, I've had a bit of a disaster. I'll take you into my shed. All right, there's the freezer. Yeah, bit of a valuable lesson there that I should know by now. There we go. That's what's inside my freezer. Obviously, I haven't shut the door properly last time out. Look at the state of that. It's completely frosted up. So I won't be sorting that out today. I'll salvage what I can out of that. I'm sure the bait's all going to be alright. It's all going to be cold enough. But yeah, I'll ferret around in there, grab some bait, and sort that out when I get back. But yeah, definitely lesson there. Make sure your freezer door's shut. Right, finally the rods are out. Yeah, by the time I got down, it was probably about 3/4 of an hour of daylight left. Had a little look around this lake. It was busy, really busy. This end was relatively free. Well, yeah, there's nobody up this end. It's like the car park end, so it's pretty rare. But yeah, nobody up here. And then as I got halfway down the lake, that's where the crowds are. There's been a couple of fish caught down there, so presumably that's why there's so many people fishing down there. But it would have been a case of squeezing in, so that wasn't an option. Did have a look around the other lake as well. One or two swims that looked quite good on there. Water level's really high actually, so a lot of the swims on the other lake aren't fishable. But yeah, there's a couple of options on there, so we might have a look at those tomorrow. But for now, I've settled on the same lake that I fished last time. Of the two that I really would like to catch out of here, there's been one out in the last few weeks, but the other one's still to come out. So the one that's the rarest one is the one that's been out, but that has been this year. It's been out a few times. I think it's been caught 5 times, something like that. So there's a chance that will come out again. It's springtime after all. And the one that the linear that I would really like to catch, that's not been caught yet since I think that was last out October time, so that's certainly due. There's been a couple of fish caught, so yeah, it's looking good. The area that I'm in, a swim called Carp Reeds. Every lake's got a reed swim, every lake's got a car park swim, isn't it? But yes, nice little area, right up at the extreme end. Gets the sunshine in the morning, not that we've got any coming, but yeah, I've done quite well out of here this time of year. Caught a few from here. It's a close in swim. It's right in a little corner really, they call it a bay, but it's just an end of the lake, Car Park Bay. Got one down to the left, not right in the margins, but it's not very far out at all. The other one it's a small lake. You never get a lot of room on here to spread your rods out much, but they're not too far apart, but they are in sort of separate areas really. Right hand one's probably 20 yards out, left hand one's about 10 yards out, something like that. Haven't seen any shows. It's rare for me to actually go in a swim before I've seen anything. However, it would have been a case of squeezing in between people, which I wasn't happy doing. So this end being empty looked like a really good bet. So we'll have a look round in the morning, and see what's going on. I did hear something about, I don't know, 20 minutes ago, half an hour, 20 minutes ago. Might have been a fish, might have been a bird, but it did sound like one coming out down this end, other side, but certainly in the vicinity. So keep my eyes peeled and my ears open, and see if anything shows during the night. Well, it's just coming up to midnight, and it's about time I got my head down and tried to get a few hours kip. However, things are looking up somewhat. I just had a nice bit of dinner and sat enjoying a glass of wine, and I got a phone call from a mate, and as I'm chatting to him, I thought I heard something show. I wasn't convinced it was a fish. I'm certainly not sure whether it was a carp or not, as there's a lot of geese about and they're creating quite a bit of disturbance, but I'm also facing towards another lake that's the other side of a causeway, so it could have been something in there. And then after I'd spoken to him and put the phone down, I had the same sound again. Again, I wasn't convinced it was a carp, but it was definitely in this bay. It wasn't in the other lake. I could tell it was in here. And then about 15-20 minutes ago, I've had confirmation. One's absolutely clattered out, and there's no mistaking that sound. Definite carp, and it's definitely not far off me. So confidence is suitably boosted, and we'll see if anything occurs during the night. Well, not much has happened during the night. I didn't get any liners or anything like that, but while I was trying to get to sleep and laying there for about an hour and a half, and I heard another 4 shows. I heard one to my right, pretty much down the middle of the bay, not as far down as the next swim, but just a little bit to the right of where I'm fishing. Another one over on the opposite side of the bay where I'd heard a couple more, and I've had one quite close to my left hand rod, a little bit closer to the bank than I'm fishing, but not far out at all on that one. So I've got fish all around me, or have had, but I've not seen much this morning. I've been up for nearly an hour now. It's coming up for 7 o'clock, and I haven't seen any fish, but over the last sort of 20 minutes there's been a few little patches of bubbles coming up. Nothing sustained, nothing that will say, yeah, this is definitely some feeding activity going on, but little patches coming up which shows some sort of movement. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not just the bottom turning over. It does look like it could be some fish activity, but I'll keep an eye on it, see how it goes. Keep watching the water. It's early days yet, so I'll give it at least another hour, and then start thinking about a move. There's a few people off today, so there'll be some options later. I've also got the option of the other lake to go to, so we'll just keep an eye on things and see what pans out. Well, it's all changed for me. Not only have I moved swims, I've moved lakes. I stayed where I was for about an hour and a half. What little bit of bubbling that was occurring dried up. I didn't see anything, and I wasn't really feeling it, so I had a walk round on that water. Saw one fish. It was in an occupied swim, so that wasn't an option. It will be available this afternoon, but I really want to be going in, following people into swims. But it would be a case of either that, dropping in between people, or fishing in a swim that I really don't want to be in. So I thought it was worth having a look around the bigger lakes next door. And I'd only been looking for about 5 minutes, and one obligingly poked its head out. And it's not quite where I was fishing last year, same sort of time, but it's just round the corner from an area that I caught quite a lot from last year, in March. It's like the corner of an island, basically. So it's like a different edge of the island, but the same island. And there's been one caught a couple of swims down. As I dropped a bucket in as soon as I saw that fish, and then went back and packed up. And by the time I got back here, someone had set up a couple of swims down and had one straight away. Only a small one, but it's a fish nonetheless. And I got the rods out, didn't take too many casts to do that, and since they've been out, so they've been out about half an hour now, I've seen another 5 fish, I think. One very close to my left hand rod, just came up to the surface, cruised along the top for 5-10 yards before dropping back down. Another one crashed out sort of, I don't know, 2/3 of the way over, 3/4 of the way over, before I'd even got a rod out there. I've seen one just shy of my right hand rod, and I've seen two big patches of bubbles come up. One of them not far off me, and the other one not in my water, in the water of the swim that I was fishing last March. But it's all looking much more encouraging over here. I'll spin the camera around in a minute and you can see the area that I'm fishing. Okay, well this is the swim that I've moved into. It's not one that I've spent much time in before. I think I've done one night in here, and I think I did a couple of hours of an afternoon once. It's an interesting swim, lots of water in front of it. It's got a small island quite close in. I'll see if I can zoom in and show you that. There's quite a snaggy island. Now I've not seen anything on that, so I haven't got a rod on there, but I'm certainly going to keep an eye on it. And the area that I am fishing, further round to the left, there's a big island which is right out in the middle of this half of the lake. It goes right down there. I've not got the whole of that side to fish. I've only really got this right hand end of it, but I've got a fair old bit of water in between me and the island. The island's about 80 yards away. Now I'll try and zoom in and show you what water I've got and where my rods are. I've got about pretty much what you can see there of the island. My right hand rod is on the corner. That's quite tight. Not really tight, it's not right up against it. It's probably, I don't know, 5-10 yards off, which does tend to be the sort of distance off the island where I've caught fish from before. The left hand rod is a bit further off. That's only about 3/4 of the way over. I've seen a couple of fish there, so I've not gone so far over on that one. And it's all looking quite good. I've seen a bit more bubbling, and yeah, conditions are quite good. It's mild. It's an northeasterly wind, which isn't ideal, but it's mild. It's drizzly. So I'm quite encouraged and reasonably confident that something may occur. Well, I've seen a few more fish throughout the afternoon. Not really feeding type shows, more, well, they look like they're cleaning off to me, which is what I'd expect to see this time of year. But it's obvious that there's a few about, and I've decided I do want to fish over a little bit of bait. Now, I was going to put some out just on dusk with a throwing stick to avoid the gulls. But this wind, this easterly wind that's blowing straight into me, is picking up a little bit, and I'm a little bit concerned that if it gets much stronger, a couple of hours time, I might not be able to get the range. So I've decided to put some out with a spod rod, and normally that would give you like a clump of bait. So I'm doing something that I've used quite a lot over the years, and that's to put the baits out one at a time. It's no good if you're putting a kilo of bait out, but for 10 to 20 baits around each one, it's absolutely ideal. You can't just use any old spot for this. No good if it's got holes in it. You need to use a solid sided one. Easiest to fill it up with water first. Drop one bait in, cast it out, and, you know, within a few casts you've got a very similar spread to what you get with a throwing stick, whilst not getting picked up by any gulls. Well, that was a mad few minutes. I had a bite on the right hand rod. It just, well, it pulled up to the top and then dropped back, and I thought it was a liner, and then a couple of minutes later it just pulled up really slowly, and I'm thinking it's a tench. Picked the rod up, and yeah, it certainly wasn't a tench. It was one that really pulled back. Just over 20 pounds. Quite a young fish. Pristine mouth on it, which is nice to see. And then straight after that went in the net, left hand rod went off, and that was one of the recently introduced fish. Gorgeous little thing, lovely scales on it, only small, but the club's introduced a few VS fish they managed to get hold of around sort of mid to late October. We lost quite a few fish. There was a big algal bloom on here that had been on here all summer and autumn, and then that died off, the oxygen crashed, and possibly lost a quarter of the lake stock. I think it was about 45-50 fish went. So they've put a few more in. There still seems to be plenty of fish in here. There's still a few coming out. But anyway, the fish that they've put in are absolutely stunning, lovely little things. I didn't weigh him, and it's academic, but it's probably a low double. But yes, really good. 2 bites. I put some more bait out, got the rods back out. Rigs are okay to go. One the hook point had turned over on the small one, but I've just sharpened that up. It's good to go again. Got those out. I've had to use the spod to put a little bit more bait on the right hand one. There's no way I can reach there with the stick. Left hand one's a little bit closer, it's about 10 yards closer, so I'm alright with the throwing stick there. So I've upped it a little bit. I've probably put, I don't know, 40, 45 on the right hand and probably 60 on the left with the throwing stick, something like that. A little bit more than I'd really use this time of year, but there's, you know, there's clearly quite a few fish in the area, and if they're willing to feed, I've upped it a little bit. Yeah, so it's about time I get some dinner on. I've got some paella. Put that on. It's getting quite late now, a bit too late to eat really, but there we go. I'm hungry, so we'll get that on and yeah, see if anything else happens during the night. Well, I really did think that was it for the trip. As the morning wore on, hadn't seen any more fish, and no more bites other than those 2 together last night. But just out of the blue, left-hand rod's gone, so it's the other one that's quite a way off the island. Another small carp, lovely winter colours, nice scales on it, really nice fish. Don't know if it's one of the recent ones or not. It looks a bit dark, to be honest, but it might be. But I haven't got in amongst any of the big ones, so I'm about to pack up now. There are some much bigger fish in here, but still it's nice to get a bit of sport. It's nice that it's hard earned as well. I've had to move, had to put a little bit of work in. But yeah, quite pleased to have caught 3. It's the first 3 fish of the year as well, so yeah, chuffed with that. I've chucked it back out, sharpened the hook back up and just chucked it out for half an hour. So I haven't seen any fish, just seen one. Unlucky not to have got that on camera, just facing the wrong way. It's just behind this small island. I'll leave it on there for a sec, see if it shows again. It's right in the centre of the shot there. Just came clean out of the water. Don't think it's going to do it again. Still, time to pack up now, and hopefully I'll be able to get down next week if we're allowed.